Hey guys, I want to share a few things with you tonight, even though I can't be with you there in person. I'm not in prison, so that's good. But I am in a room that looks like I'm in prison. Don't worry though, I'll be okay. I have absolutely loved and cherished serving alongside of you as village leaders and Joshua's this year. I think this year has been, without a doubt, the weirdest year ever. With everything being reinvented and at times feeling like we're kind of trapped in the washing machine. But something was produced in us as a people this year that I want to speak towards that I see very clearly. And I want to tell you kind of what I see and hope that you see it too. The first that thing that I'm celebrating is our intimacy with God as a site, specifically in prayer. We've prayed more this year this year as a church than in the last I think any time in our previous history as a site. As I have calculated it, we've prayed about 150 hours in about 45 unique prayer experiences. And that's crazy. We've always said we need to pray more. And then we'll do like a prayer night and like a whole bunch of people get in a room and pray for like an hour. But something happened this year where I think we became a people of prayer that pretty recurringly in the mornings to get up and to pray together and go seek God. And that's something we've always wanted to see happen, and God actually used you this year to make happen. He used you to produce something in our church that's never been done before. And I think that it's going to be a foundation that is laid that ripples far into the future for those of us who are a part of it. So I believe He's also answered a lot of prayers that you've prayed. The second thing that I see really clearly is that our campus influence has increased. Right now, there's more non-believers, specifically freshmen. More non-believers are connected to a missional Christian than were last year. So I mean, like a higher percentage of the freshman class has a missional Christian connected to them, one of us. And these are like seeds that the Lord can sprout up at any time. Eternal life and true purpose and failing love are at the doorstep of these people if they desire to open it at any point. So we have done our part. And now it's up to God if He decides to ignite that into salvation and maturing as a believer. And that's a really restful and peaceful feeling. And I feel that, and I hope that you feel that. So the way you guys have innovated through meeting people with stickers and Can Jam and being on campus and playing basketball and Dungeons and Dragons and working on campus and Capture the Flag has put our church closer to lostness. And that is exactly where we were designed to be, collectively and also individually. And I see that God's done that through you this year. The third thing that I see is just community closeness. And this is really tangible. I think we've grown relationally closer through difficulty. There's a word for that, and you might have heard this word before. It's called communitas. Communitas is the brotherhood and the sisterhood that is formed uniquely when people go through adversity together. This happens when people go to war. They come back as family, brothers and sisters in arms. This happens in sports. If you and your high school team had a deep run into the playoffs and the championships, you kind of became family in that. And I think this has also happened in Resonate through COVID. This is one of the things that God may have sovereignly used this crazy season in order to create in us. And I think that He used you to spearhead this. And when I think about this past season, I think that God's really, truthfully, not only allowed for you to lead your individual village, but you to collectively lead our church in a really important way. So I want to tell you pointedly, I'm proud of you. I'm proud to be your pastor. I'm proud to be your friend. I'm proud to have you in our lives and in our home and in our dinner table and helping Tanis and I raise our children. I am proud to talk about you to people who are outside of our concentric circle of village leaders and Joshua's at Resonate U of O. I do believe that you'll look back on this year as one of the most difficult and beautiful years of your life. And one day, Lord willing, when we're old, we'll sit on a porch together in rocking chairs, and we'll be old and frail and wrinkly, and we'll tell stories together about waking up early to pray and about tearing our hamstrings and breaking our glasses at Capture the Flag, and about passing out stickers. And we'll rock back and forth and stare off into the distance, and we'll cherish the fact that even though we might not have realized it in every single moment, that God really did give us the fullness of joy by being with us while we were with one another and engaging in mission together. So I love you guys deeply. I don't want you to forget, no one who has left their home or their brothers or their sisters or mother or father or children or fields for Christ and for the gospel will fail to receive 100-fold as much in this present age: homes, brothers, sisters, mother, children, fields, along with persecutions, and in the age to come, eternal life. Don't forget the promise of Jesus. Love you guys. There are some other people who have been impacted by the gospel, and that God has used you to deeply move in their lives and in their hearts, and they want to speak to you about how you've affected them personally. So I'm going to turn it over to them now. Love you guys. See you soon.
When I think of Emily, I think of the word welcoming, because she's been nothing but welcoming to me, especially when I haven't had many friends to hang out with during COVID. And yeah, she just invited me into her home and just made me a part of the group. And I've been really grateful to meet her kind soul.
When I think of JP, I think of the word magnetic. Just draws people towards him, has good energy, and I've just never had a bad time with him. So I hope you're having a great time, and I love you, big guy.
When I think of Rebecca, I think of the word intentional. I have really seen her go that extra mile to get to know people and make them feel loved, and I just think she's really good at doing life on life with people.
When I think of Lauren, I think of loving, because she welcomed me and made me feel at home in a new place, and I always feel like she makes everyone feel welcomed and like family. I love you.
When I think of Connor, I think of love. He's compassionate and caring to anybody that he's ever met. And I mean, he shows what it means to be a loving Christian and a follower of Christ, and to love the neighbors as oneself. And he's just a great example to me and to many other people that I know. And I know I just appreciate everything that he's done for me.
When I think of Em, I think of the word selfless, because she's always devoting all her time to other people, and she's so kind and generous. I love you, Em.
When I think of JP, I think of the word magnetic, because he's the kind of guy that everybody wants to be friends with.
When I think of Dakota, the first word that pops in my head would be optimistic. I mean, every time we hang out, we're talking, you know, it's never about anything negative. We're always focused on positive things and always laughing and just having a riot, you know. Whatever's going on in his life, he doesn't let that really affect his mood and doesn't push that negativity on other people. So I'd say optimistic would be my word.
This is for Madison from Sevilla. When I think of Madison, I think of the word unwavering. Her strength, determination, and sense of purpose inspires me to be better. Love you, Madison.
When I think of Morton, I think of calm, because I think when he has to deal with bigger issues and things, he's always able to stay calm and relaxed.
When I think of Emily, I think of the word kind, because she's the type of friend who will always be there for you no matter what. And since the day I met her, she's always been so welcoming, and she's really helped make Eugene feel more like home.
My word for Chris would be thoughtfulness. I think Chris really takes to heart, slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen. I've never seen him come to rash judgment, and I think he's always very thoughtful before he speaks, and it's definitely something that I would like to imitate.
When I think of how to describe Dakota, I think of a lot of words, so I describe him as ineffable, because he's so loving and so gentle and so willing to be vulnerable and so happy that there's no singular way for me to be able to describe him.
The best word to describe Rebecca would be kind. She's constantly serving others, constantly looking for ways that others can be heard, can be seen. She was my personal Uber driver for a whole year just to make sure that I would get to church. Just the incredible woman that she is all embodied around the kindness of her heart.
When I think of Alex, I think of the word fearless. She's always opening her heart up to new people. Love you, Alex.
If I had to describe Emily in one word, I would say inspirational, because she has taught me more than I could have ever thought I would learn from somebody, and she's just one of the most courageous people I've ever met. Love you, Emily.
When I think of JP, I think of the word soul, because not only is he an old soul, but he also sees the soul in everybody else, and he's able to like pull them inward into that soulful space and bring beautiful things out of them.
Hey Connor, when I think of you, I think of the word courageous, because I always see that you are an example of how you always face the challenges in your life and you never back down. You always press forward. So good job. Keep it up.
When I think of Lauren, I think of the word kind-hearted. Lauren has the biggest heart, and she cares deeply about her friends and family and people around her, and she is so thoughtful. Love you, Lauren.
Chris, in one word, it would be learner. I think when he goes into conversations, if there's something he doesn't know, he likes to just keep asking questions and just learn more about the topic. And I think that's very loving trait to have, because it makes the person he's talking with feel known and just, I guess, loved.
One word to describe Emily would be welcoming, loving, caring, and every good thing on that list. But yeah, she's one of the nicest people ever. So love you, Em. I'm so grateful for you and our friendship. Thanks for everything.
When I think of Madison, I think of the word caring. You can always tell that she cares so much about the people around her, no matter who they are or how long she's known them. I'm so incredibly fortunate to have gotten to witness this firsthand, and I'm so grateful that she's a part of my life. Love you, Madison.
If I had to describe Dakota in one word, no doubt it would be outward. Just ask him what he's done today, and I guarantee you he has spent his whole day around people.
When I think of Alex, I think of the word nurturing. You're always there for other people, you always know what other people need, and you're always willing to put other people's needs before your own. You're a great listener, and that's what makes you a wonderful village leader. Love you, Alex.
Word that comes to mind with JP, I think an obvious one is Christ-like. He embodies his beliefs, and rightfully so. He is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life, one of the greatest, and I'm so blessed to call him a friend.
My word for Chris is intrepid, because he always presses forward in his work, in his ministry, even when sometimes it looks like there isn't very much fruit and his family is asking for a lot of his time.
One word that I would use to describe Emily is affectionate, and I use that because from day one, she has not only accepted me, my personality, but she has been loving towards me no matter who I am or what I do. And it's not just me, it's literally anybody she brings around, anyone she introduces me to, and everyone else in her life. And it's really rare to find that nowadays, so we love you for that, and thank you.
One word to describe Morgan would probably be loving and caring, but he's always so invested in my life, and I'm just really thankful for that. See you guys.